Hello, this is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly swing trade ideas video where we bring you stocks based on a variety of discretionary, technical, and quantitative criteria, all of which we're going to break down for you in just a moment. As always, these videos are sponsored by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We curate our long ideas from their watch lists. You can get access to their watch lists, to their stock lists, in the description of this video. So we've got a good amount of action going on right now, and I wanted to start this video. This is usually kind of trade ideas in isolation, but I just want to touch on the market environment because it is at an interesting spot right now. I'm recording this intraday live, so markets are still open. At the time of recording this right now, though, we're looking at the Nasdaq 100. And take a look at this bar here. We are trading at the very lows of the session, and we are, in fact, taking out the lows from last week. So we've got support in here at 310. We are in the process of cutting through that support right now. Obviously, it'll be very interesting to see how we close the session, but if we do manage to close below last week's lows, below 310 here in the Nasdaq 100, you have to be a bit cautious in the short term on this market because you're basically threatening maybe a second measured, second move lower, right? So if we just keep things as simple as possible, I'm a fan of measured moves. So if we have kind of that first impulse leg down from highs, we sort of project where we're going here. We could see, 298 or so if we make a second leg lower in the Nasdaq 100. Obviously, it's not guaranteed. Obviously, that's not where we have to stop. But it at least gives you a little context here of where this market might want to go if it continues to break down below the support level. So what that means for you is going to be entirely dependent on your strategy, on your time frame. If you're a very short-term active trader, you're probably looking at short setups. You're probably trying to play momentum to the downside. If you're longer term, maybe you're starting to accumulate on stocks that are at support or are, long-term holds that you want to sort of layer into. So all of that's going to depend. I'm going to give you a few different looks with some different stocks today, basically covering both of those modes. So again, do your homework, make sure it fits the context, your time frame, and all of that with the names we're going to talk about. So cues here, I think, are just interesting in themselves. You could play any of the market indices right now. Clearly, the S&P 500 is not breaking down. The Russell 2000 is not breaking down yet. So those are our relative strength leaders. It's the Nasdaq 100, it's that mega cap tech, which is seeing the weakness. If you're playing on the short side, that's might be where, you might find kind of the juice to the downside. So that's the cues here. I want to talk about a couple of discretionary names, and this is in Amazon. So Amazon here, if we just zoom out, take a look. It's gone nowhere here for the past 8 months, let's call it. Let's see. Yeah, about 8 months now. It's been trading between about 3,000 and 3,500. So it's coming back to the lower end of this range. This is kind of fits in the bucket, at least in my head here. Like if you're looking at Amazon for a longer term hold, as it comes back to the bottom end of this range, nothing says it can't break down. So again, you have to be cautious. These are risk management's very, very important when you're looking at things like this, but Amazon back at the lower end of the range here below 3,000, I think is worth a look for a longer term play. Again, you run the risk of a breakdown here. If the market makes a second leg lower, I would not be surprised to see, a 2,800 print on Amazon if that actually unfolds. Same thing with Facebook. Facebook's gone nowhere for the past 7 or 8 months. Again, love it or hate it as a company, the stock here has performed over the years to the upside, and as it comes back down to the lower end of the range, if you're looking at a longer term time horizon, these are things that I would at least be paying attention to. So Facebook, Amazon, a couple of discretionary longer term ideas. If we get into some of the short-term stuff, so let's look at some of our technical scan criteria here. So VERI, this is the first trade idea from the technical side. This is hitting our pullback weakness scan. It's basically looking for a bear flag type of pattern. So we essentially have, again, this leg lower here that took place in February. So we had this nice leg lower. We broke through support here in the process. and we got this weak bounce, tried to get back over support, and we are in fact rolling over as we speak right now. It's in the tech space. There's overhead supply. We've got this bear flag looking pattern. Could easily make, a measured move down here into the 25s, which would, basically align here with this December support. So that's the way I would frame this out. This is coming from our pullback weakness scan. If you're a TC2000 user, you can learn more about that scan on our website. You can download it. You can run it on your own platform. So VERI, that's the first trade idea on the short side. Second trade idea on the short side coming from, I think this is hitting a couple of scans, but certainly that same scan, the weakness scan, we have basically the same setup here. So we've got, more of this kind of distribution pattern here up at highs where the stock went sideways and ended up rolling over. So we had that leg down, we had this bounce up, and now we are seeing both kind of a bearish engulfing bar. We're seeing a breakdown of this kind of move here, and just like we talked about in the last pattern, we could see kind of that second leg lower into the 25s for AVTR. So those are two ideas there just on the short side. On the long side, or really this jury is still out here, but I do tend to like it on the long side. Republic Services. So this is hitting our ultimate consolidation scan, and the scan, the consolidation we're specifically looking at is kind of an intermediate consolidation here. So basically over the past few weeks, you can see the very, very tight pattern here. And if we just zoom out, you can see certainly it's still kind of below the highs here from 2020. If we go to the weekly chart, though, you can see how this weekly picture is playing out. It does look like a pretty orderly, kind of consolidation flag looking pattern here on the weekly chart. You can see it's obviously getting very, very tight here over the past 5 weeks. And so what I would be looking for, again, the trigger hasn't happened and it might not, but if it can start to move over $92, this one starts to look pretty interesting on the long side to maybe continue back up and move back up towards these highs. Of course, market environment is not playing at the back here of RSG long setup, but the setup is certainly there. So that's one on our ultimate consolidation scan, which is again a TC2000 scan on our website. Last but not least, one of the trade ideas, one of the trade signals that we got involved with today was FSLY, FSLY, and this one is hitting our Merlin trading system. So Merlin always likes a bargain, and it is looking at holding stocks for basically a month, 2 months at a time. And so FSLY was an entry for us this morning. So full disclosure, we have a long position in this stock right now. We are looking at higher prices. We got involved around $69. So we are currently down about $1.50 on this trade. Our stop, I don't have off the top of my hand, but it's certainly, got some room down here. And we are basically playing for a reversion back up into the top end of this range, and then ideally even a breakout from this range. But one sort of target at a time, see if buyers can step in basically where they have in the past. This has been a stock that's been, kind of trading in between low 70s up to about 115, 120. We highlighted the stock a few weeks ago as it was holding up here as a momentum setup. That momentum clearly failed, though, and we flushed all of those momentum buyers up here. I don't think we ever really got that trigger. We talked about, basing and consolidating and trying to break out over 116 or so. That didn't really happen. We flushed to the bottom end of the range, and now we have kind of a new opportunity set that we're looking at. So long FSLY for our trading system. If you want to learn more about Merlin, you can head to the website, take it for a free trial, learn how it works. And that's what I got for this week. So mind the risk, pay attention to the market environment, and do your homework on all of these trades. Good luck out there trading, and we'll see you back here on Friday for the weekend market analysis video. Thanks for tuning in.